In this part of the training, we will use CSS styles in presono. First, we will look at existing styles, and then we will animate our own template using CSS. But first, a quick look at the basics. CSS styles can be used for animations in presono. The template sets that already exist in presono are also mostly animated with CSS. The styles are written either globally or directly in a template set. The animations are then triggered directly in the template via the class name. This also enables a central administration of the styles. If you change the style, they are automatically updated. The third option is inline styles, which are applied only to a single area or section in a single layout. Let's look at an existing style. To do this, we go to the content structure and open one of the existing sets. For example, the naturally set. Up here, you will find the styles for this set. If you click on the custom styles for this set, you will see that a style has been created. If you click it, you will see the details on the right. Now we open a layout of the set in a new tab. To do this, we hold down the Control key and click on one of the templates. If you click on the arrow below here, you will get a section for the styles and the code. Now you can click on a section to get the details of this section. Here you can see that something has been entered for the class name. There are even two styles used here. By the class name, an animation is used on this section. The class name must be written exactly, and you can even apply several classes to this section at the same time if you insert a space between the names. Now we look at the style. Change the tab again and go to the custom styles of the set. If we scroll down a little, we discover the effect appear underlined naturally. So there it is. Here we have the class name by which the style is triggered and below the respective definition of the animation. If you change the duration here, for example, the template and thus all the slides that are created that were created with it also will be updated. Now we customize our own template. I've already prepared a template for this. This is what the slide should look like in the end. So we write CSS styles for the hover effect here on the images, the appear effect on the bottom text line, and we will use inline styles for rotating these sections here. I switch to our template set in a new tab. Here we have already prepared the template and we will now use CSS for animating it. We create a slide now with it to be able to follow what we set. We fill in the headline and the subline and even the button down here for more information button. Then we save the slide. We give it a title, training, put in workspace and categories and save it. Okay, now we open the template set and the layout in a new tab. So we go back to the content structure and open the layout. We see here some sections with only a border which are already rotated. Above this, we want to make a new image area. So to do this, we will use the media section tool and draw a section. We will now define and adjust this one section, and in the end we will duplicate it so that the other sections will be exactly the same. Now, but first we will group the already existing sections with the frames. We make a new group, name it frames, and select all the 3 sections by holding down the Control key and drag them into the group. The group should be below the media section at the end. Now we name the media section and we create another group for the media sections. We name it image top. There we go. Now we will use the inline styles for rotating this area. To rotate the section, we click again on the small arrow at the very bottom. And for a better demonstration, I now temporarily give the section a background color so we can see what we do. The section here below exists both in the layout and the background template. Here I have the possibility to assign classes, but also inline styles. If you are familiar with CSS, you know that inline styles are always given the highest priority, which is why certain attributes from the editor appear here too, such as the background color I just assigned. To rotate the section, we use the CSS attribute transform. And on top of that, I put a rotate with 45 degrees. As soon as we leave the field, the section is rotated. Now we add rounded corners with 20 pixels to the section. In addition, the setting to hide overhanging content must be selected here so that the corners of the images will also be cut off later. We click on Save and we will return back to our slide and reload the page. Now there is a new rotated section for a picture. We insert a picture now. Now we can rotate the image as much as we like. A tip: use the parameters here. You can set the rotation to exactly -45 degrees, which makes the image perfectly straight again. If you then click on Fill, the image will be completely filling the section. When we are done, we save and go back into the template. We can now delete the background color. And also we will adjust the settings so that only images are allowed in our section. And save again. Now we do the same animation as with the frames. We click on the frame and see that fade in is set with a duration of 1 second and a delay of 0.5 seconds. We now set exactly the same in the image section. We click on the image section, click on animate, select fade in, set the duration to 1 second and the delay to half a second. And at the end, we duplicate the image section twice so that we can also fill the 2 other frames with images. We do this now at the end so that all the settings made so far are also copied. We name them and move them to the right place. Also, the first one must go into the group. At the end, we save the template. We go back to the slide and insert images into the 2 new sections. Again, use the -45 degrees fill option. With the preview, we can look at the whole thing now. At the end, we save our slide. Now we are done with the topic of the inline styles. Next, we are going to write a style ourselves, which we will then apply to the layout with classes. We want to create a hover effect on the images so that they appear in the grayscale and become colored when hovering with the mouse. To do this, we switch back to the tab with our template set and open the custom styles. This time we will create a completely new style. We click on Add a new style. First we give it a name. I call it hover effect. In the template, the style is then applied by the class name. A class is therefore placed on a section. This class is defined here in the styles. I will call the class hover element, written together and with a dot in the front. Then we insert a curved bracket and press enter. First, we have to define the initial situation. In essence, what the section should look like when you do not hover it. We want to apply a filter here, which is a grayscale with 100%. Attention, grayscale with an A. Then we have to define what the images should look like when we hover over it. In other words, we want to define a hover state. We address the hover element here and say with the keyword hover that the hover state is defined now. We insert a curved bracket again. With enter, the bracket is automatically closed. When we hover it, we want the grayscale filter to be applied at 0%. So grayscale 0%. So now, so that the transition does not happen too quickly, we assign another transition. We place this on the filter and say that it should last half a second until the image changes from gray to colored. Now we can save the style and copy the class name right here so we can use it correctly in the template. If, for example, the upper and lower case is not considered, the style cannot be applied. We close this view and switch to the layout. In the layout, we open the section at the bottom for the custom code and select one of the images. Then we insert the class name and we repeat that for the other 2 images as well. And now we are done. We can save the template, go back to the slide, and here we can see already the hover effect, which is working. Another example of a CSS style is an animate in for text along a hard edge. We can see it here at the subline. So that's what we want to achieve. And we will now write this style for our template. We go back to the template set and create a new style, which we name text animation. An animation is started with the keyword keyframes. And with the name, it's especially important that it is prefixed with a template set name. So we write training, underline, move in top. Then we open a curved bracket, so spacebar bracket, and then press enter. Now we define the starting point by writing 0% and opening a curved bracket and press enter again. We write transform, translate Y, because the text should move along the Y-axis. Then we enter minus 105%. But why? Due to the rendering accuracy of the browser, it makes sense to always move a few percent out of the visible section, otherwise small parts might be visible beforehand. Now we still have to determine the final state. So we write 100% and again a curved bracket and enter. We write transform again, translate Y, but this time with 0%, because it should reach 0%. So now we define a class so that we can use it later in the layout. So we go down. We always name the class exactly like the animation, so I call it training, underline, move in top. Curved brackets, enter. Here I enter the animation and the name. We can copy it also so we don't make any mistakes. Then I set the duration to 1 second, which is the first, and then the delay to 1 second. At the end, I add a forwards here so that the animation stops at the end state and does not return to the starting point. We also have to define the starting point in the class, and since this should be the same as in the animation itself, we copy the starting point from above and paste it. We save the style and copy the class name so that we can paste it in the template. We go back to the layout, we open the section at the bottom for the custom code, click on the lower text section and assign the class. We go into the, we save it, then we go into the other tab with the slide and do a reload. We see that the whole section is being moved now, so we have to adjust the style a bit more. To do this, we switch to the style again. Here it is important to understand the HTML structure of presono. When you insert an image or other content, a separate div is inserted into the existing section that contains the image. So we don't want to address the outer section, but the content inside. So we put the style one div further inside. We save the style and switch back to the slide. Do a reload, click on preview. It still doesn't quite fit because the text is already visible beforehand and not only when it enters the section. We already know this setting. We go into the template, choose the section, and select the setting that overhanging content should be hidden. Now we save, go back to the slide and check the result. Well done, our slide is now ready. The pictures are rotated, they have a hover effect, and the text is now animated too. At the end, let's take a quick look at the global styles. We have now used the custom styles in a template set. These styles can then only be applied within a template set. But there is also the possibility of defining global styles. However, this function is usually reserved for administrators. The global styles can be found in the settings in the configurations. These styles can then be used globally for all templates in various template sets. These styles are often used for things such as what links should look like, or the definition of heading style sheets. The style of bullet list can also be influenced. Here we see, for example, the definition of format templates for headings, so H1, H2. However, the style in a template set will always override the style in the global styles if they match, or for the case they match. For a template set, the definition of the headings or bullet lists can be overridden. So let me summarize again. First, there are the global styles that can be applied in all template sets. Then there are the custom styles, which only apply to the respective template set. This must be also considered, for example, when templates are moved or duplicated to other sets. And in the end, there is the possibility of applying inline styles to individual sections in individual layouts. The difference to normal styles is that I can only apply individual CSS attributes here, but cannot write entire animations. However, I can assign classes with which the animations from the styles can be applied to this section. This was the last part of our template training. If there are any more questions now, you can always visit our knowledge base, and if you have an individual questions, there are Q&A webinars on a regular basis, which you can register for free. And you can leave a ticket in the knowledge base and we will get back to you. We wish you a lot of fun presenting with presono.